Okay, here's something to think about.
Hmm.
What if the future of global leadership, like, isn't just being shaped in those, traditional halls of power,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe it's also happening in vibrant immigrant neighborhoods or even online.
Interesting angle.
Right. So today we're doing a deep dive into exactly that. How diaspora voices are, well, really starting to reshape global politics and influence.
That's a really crucial question, I think.
Yeah.
And our mission for you today is basically to pull out the key insights from the sources we've looked at.
Okay.
We want to help you really get a handle on this pretty significant shift.
Yeah.
Explore how these new voices are actually breaking through.
Well, what that means for power.
Exactly. What it means for global power dynamics from like the local community level right up to the international stage.
Okay, so let's really let's unpack the shift in political identity first. Our sources really hammer this home.
Mm-hmm.
How rising diaspora leaders, someone like New York Assemblyman Zoran Mamdani, they really symbolize this huge change.
Yeah, he's a great example.
He's second-generation Ugandan Indian immigrant, right?
Okay.
And his story, it resonates deeply, not just in the U.S., actually.
No, it's wider than that.
Yeah, globally, especially with, like, younger people, globally connected youth, and those politically active online communities. It's a whole new narrative kind of cutting across old lines.
And what's really fascinating there, is how that ties directly into these bigger, broader global trends.
Okay, like what?
Well, the sources underline the growing importance of diverse representation. And it's not just for show, not just optics.
Right, it's deeper.
It's directly linked to getting young people involved, youth voter engagement, and just the overall health of democratic processes.
Because they bring different perspectives.
Exactly. These new voices offer viewpoints that, frankly, traditional politics often misses. So you get policies, you do conversations that actually reflect a more complex, interconnected world.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's why this moment feels, more important than ever.
So that deep resonance, these new narratives, clearly powerful stuff. But, like, how are these voices actually building momentum? How are they reaching people?
Well, that leads us straight into the really interesting part about Gen Z, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels like they approach politics completely differently. They don't just, like, consume it.
No, they remix it. They make it their own.
We're talking about reels, memes,
Yeah.
right, that kind of grassroots storytelling.
The power there is incredible. Short-form video, memes, personal stories. It builds political momentum in a way we haven't really seen before.
It's a completely different playbook for activism, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the sources show it's not just like an interesting side note. It's a fundamental shift in power dynamics.
How so?
Think about it.
Yeah.
One really smart meme or a reel that goes viral, it can take a complex political idea or a personal story and boom, instantly shareable.
Right. Cuts through the noise.
Totally.
Yeah.
And lets people who were, unknown figures maybe yesterday become household names almost overnight. They just bypass the old media gatekeepers.
So digital influence is king now.
It's paramount, yeah.
Yeah.
It allows for this incredibly rapid, widespread of ideas. It
Yeah.
mobilizes movement super fast. It turns people from just watching into, like, active advocates.
Wow. Okay, so bringing it back, what does all this mean for you listening right now? How you engage with the world? And maybe specifically for places like India,
Mm-hmm.
like reflecting on Mamdani's win. What signal does that send to young Indians watching, maybe from far away, perhaps feeling a bit disconnected?
That's a great point.
It's more than just winning an election in the usual way, isn't it? It feels like it's about opening up completely new possibilities for, influence and impact.
And if you connect that to the bigger picture, it shows us exactly how, say, global Indian voices are influencing everything.
Everything. Like what?
Well, from really high-level policy debates, think climate change, right down to pop culture conversations about identity and belonging.
So it's broad.
It really showcases the huge reach and, frankly, the significant impact these diaspora communities have globally. It properly challenges our old ideas about where political power actually sits and, how it gets used.
Okay, so let's just quickly recap then. We've basically explored this really dynamic, this new role that diaspora voices are playing. They're not just on the sidelines.
That's all.
They're actively shaping global power. They're changing the leadership landscape,
Oh.
fundamentally.
And maybe a final thought for you to mull over today. Consider this idea.
Yeah.
Diaspora isn't distance. It's a bridge.
That bridge. Okay.
That concept is actually being lived out by today's leaders, one bold, often digitally savvy step at a time.
Right.
So the question for you is, what new bridges are being built right now in this super interconnected world? And maybe more importantly, what does that mean for how you engage with global issues, whether it's in your local community or, right across the internet?